What if one wrong ingredient turns your garden into a wildlife buffet, or worse, kills your plants before they even start? Right here, right now, I'm showing you 3 stages of real working compost systems, from fresh stinky grass clippings to rich dark gold, and revealing the one secret almost no one ever talks about. Stick around, because what I'm about to show you can completely change how you grow. I help homeowners, serious gardeners, beginning gardeners, and businesses fix plant, lawn, and landscape problems using professional horticulture and contractor-tested methods without wasting money on gimmicks. Like this video and subscribe so you never miss a thing. Let's grow! If you're kind of new to gardening, you're going to hear a lot of people telling you got to start a compost pile. And today we're going to discover whether or not that is something that you should do, how much space do you need, what kind of materials and elements make a compost pile, or whether or not you're just going to go out and buy it yourself. Now, it's a romantic idea to have a compost pile. Here we're going to share 3 different stages of compost going on over here, and you could either adopt all of them or none of them whatsoever. That's all up to you. Now, compost is a material that you would take and you would fortify your vegetable garden with. Now, you would start off with some kind of base material, some type of soil, and then you use this stuff to add nutrients to it, because compost does have nutrients within it, albeit minute, but it's still good because it's an organic material that breaks up the soil. It also helps the soil become, like I said, fortified, because there's a tiny bit of nutrients in it. It's a great way to do organic gardening. But compost piles aren't as easy as they show on television, that's for sure, or in the movies. How's that? Okay, so this is the story. You need materials to break down. So things that you kind of need is you need leaves, whether they are green leaves or whether they are dried out leaves. You're going to need some grass clippings. When you have a compost pile, you're going to have weeds, lots of weeds around it. The ones on the outside, at least, you're going to have weeds. We've got some nasty weeds that are hanging out right over here, and in fact, we even have a tomato plant that's growing right there. So we must have had kitchen scraps, which brings us to that part. You can take and bring kitchen scraps and throw it inside the pile. Just make sure you don't have any kind of meat products. If you have meat products, you're going to have animals that you thought you never had in your yard before, let alone your neighborhood, jump over the fence, dive in, and make a huge mess trying to get those meat products out. So anything with bones, anything with meat on it, make it stay out. It's just got to be green material. If you're going to use bananas, take those bananas and chop them up. And that's actually the whole key thing to a good compost pile, is making sure that the stuff that you're throwing in there is going to be broken down, because it takes a long time for a compost pile to become compost. We have different stages and different things. You know, we have our chickens here at the thingsgreen.com Botanical Gardens, and we use their bedding material, which is alfalfa and hay, and then of course they make a big mess. So we take that, we collect it, and it takes a very long time. It'll take anywhere between 8 months to a year before it properly breaks down. But and that's because the hay is just very, very durable. It takes a long time for it to do that. But the manure in there is hot, and we'll make it really. We'll help break it down a whole lot faster. So this particular pile right here is kind of cool, because it has been used. It's not very moist at the moment, but it's been used in all of our test garden beds here. And yeah, we do have some bigger leaf matter that's still in here and such, but for the most part, it's there. And it smells good, even though there's chicken manure here. It's going to be okay. I also have some. We also taken away. Got ourselves some of this stuff right here, which happens to be charcoal. And albeit this is kind of big to put in there, we usually take and bust it down. Now, it's not charcoal from the barbecue. Well, it kind of is from the barbecue, but the barbecue, this kind of charcoal is in a separate bin. So it breaks down itself without having any meat materials going on top of it. So don't use charcoal that has any kind of compressed charcoal, the kind that you would take and you would cook your your meat on for the drippings to get on, because number one, a lot of times that stuff has chemicals inside of it to hold it together or to light it for you. So that's a real big issue. This right here is just pure wood that they made charcoal out of, and it really helps to fortify the soils as well. All right, so leaves that, oh, weeds, we got weeds. A lot of weeds will go inside here. The smaller the pieces, the faster it composts down. Normally what we do is, with this one, we'll pull from the bottom of the pile as we go. This one right over here, we take and we turn on a regular basis. You got to get oxygen inside of your compost bin, and it has to be moist. We don't want it wet. We don't want to squeeze out any kind of water out of it. So what's the area that you need? Well, this right here is made out of just some pallets. Look it, we're talking about gardening. Gardening sometimes isn't pretty. Compost piles don't have to be pretty either. So we just have a couple of pallets right here, and then we have a pallet on the back with some wood on the back, because that's a wood fence right there, and we don't want this compost to be hitting the back over there, because it's going to rot the fence out, even though it's a cedar, or yeah, it's a cedar fence. So make sure that it's away from stuff that's not going to ruin anything. And then again, we take and we wet it, and we just watch it compost down. Now these leaves right here really should have been broken down a little bit more. You can bust them over, take a lawnmower over them, put them in a chipper or something like that. But we're gonna speed this whole process up, because what we did is that we've been asking the next door neighbor's gardener and to take and give us some compost now, give us some grass clippings. Now, I got to tell you, this reeks right now. It is horribly stinky, and it's only 2 days old. And if you're to put your hands in here, you're going to find out that it's warm. It's very, very warm. And this is what we want for our compost bin. So we're going to take this, and we're going to, where's my shovel? Oh, here it is. So a shovel, very necessary for a compost bin. So we're going to take this, and we're going to throw this inside over here, just like this. Yeah, some other compost, and then we would take and we can mix it in. But before I'm going to mix this particular one in, I have some material that's got hidden over here. This right here is called humic acid, and this humic acid, it's not a fertilizer, it's a humic material that's been around for 1 million years. In fact, if you go to my website, you're going to see that I wrote an article on this. Just type in humic acid, and you're going to find out what it is and how it works and why it's used for the garden. We're going to take and just sprinkle a little bit right here. That's going to be like an activator to keep this thing really going. Then what we want to do is, not a bad idea, if you don't have any humic acid, don't fret. You can actually take dirt from your garden beds, throw a handful of dirt in there, and then when you end up mixing it in, it is definitely going to help break it down, because soil is a living organism, and this soil is hands down going to bring in good bacteria and critters in here, not bad critters, little minute, not even minute, microscopic critters, to help break down the soil. Then what you got to do is you got to mix this stuff. Just mix it in really well like this, and that's all you got to do. So we use a pitchfork. You could use whatever you want. You could use, if you don't have too many sticks. Now this stick right here will take about, I don't know, maybe 3,000 years to break down. But we put it in there anyhow, and it'll eventually break down. We'll sift it out. We will take it and break it down at a different time. It's always better if you do it ahead of time. Anyway, you can see you could take a shovel. You could put a shovel in here. Works really well as well. Now, there's another way of doing all this. Let me get this out of the way here. There's another way of doing this, and that is with this right here. This is a tumbler, and this tumbler, this one's probably about 15, 20 years old. And here, ooh, it's nice and warm in there. And this is a little bit different here. It's kind of a cool thing when you think about it. It's, oh, there's a go. Doesn't stink. This one has, you can actually see the hay that's in here. The other side, let's take a quick look on the other side. See if there's anything there. This is a very inconvenient one, by the way. It's not an awesome kind of thing. Okay, so this one's busted down even further. You can tell it had a little bit of hay in there, but look how gorgeous that is. Like I said, all of our, it's just earthy. You get a beautiful earthy smell in something like this. So use it, mix it in. We use like half existing soil to half of that. You have to rotate your crops, you know, and when you rotate your crops, that right there is the cat's meow for doing any kind of compost, what do you call it, any kind of planting. So we don't put the tomatoes in the same area each year, but we will take this compost and we'll bring compost in and allow the compost to do the work that it has to do in order to make the soil stay alive. All right. Other things you got to worry about putting in your compost pile. These are actually plant stakes. We have these plant stakes all over the place. Get them out of there. Don't put any plastic. You can actually put paper in here. That's okay. You can take cardboard, but again, you got to make it really small to do that. So the area that you have here, this is 4 feet by 4 feet. That's what you got here. That right over there, that's 4 feet by 3 feet. This is a 4 by 4 area right over here. So, you know, if you got the room, you could do it. But again, you have to make sure that you're constantly doing stuff over here. Now, let me see if I can dig something out here that you may or may not like. So we're gonna go way at the bottom over here and we'll see if there are what I'm hoping there's going to be. Okay, we got some activity here. We got a lot of, actually I have a lot of pill bugs. Let's see. No, I don't see any. Oh, here they go. So, you ever see moths before? This is the reason why you have moths. Okay, so we don't mind these right here in our compost pile. We actually take and turn it, pull them out by hand. They're not going to hurt you or anything like that. Look at that thing. He's reaching for the stars. And then what we do, we feed them to the chickens. It's really just that simple. They're not going to hurt your plants or anything like that, so I wouldn't worry about that. They'll eat decaying matter. They typically don't go after anything that's living, so I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. But yeah, that's going to be a wonderful treat for the birds, and we'll have less of those moths hanging around. So reiterate. Oh, and again, you may have weeds growing. The part of the deal. You won't have weeds growing inside a tumbler, and there's a lot of different configurations for the tumbler. Whatever works best for you. This particular one is designed so that you can fit a wheelbarrow underneath it, open it up, dump it out, and you know, do that. The design of this is actually interesting, but it's also a problem because these doors are really hard to put on, and then because it bends in the center like this, these things have a tendency to pop off. So they didn't actually figure that out very well when they designed that. I think I mentioned we have a volunteer tomato plant growing there, and yeah, that's basically what we do when we see a compost pile. Keep it moving, keep it watered. Watering is really important. We want to make sure that it's kept moist. So water it down. So I probably have our guys water this down, oh, maybe once a week, if that often. Makes it really nice, makes it super simple for what we're trying to achieve over here. Get your tools out of the way, you don't want them to get all messed up. And like I mentioned, if you got a chance to get yourself a pitchfork, that's really great. You know, a lot of these tools that we have over here, we go to yard sales. You would be surprised the kind of tools that you can get from a yard sale. It is so cool. And they're cheap too. You can get, you know, I think we paid like $1.50 for that. We'll probably have to do a show one day to show you how to revitalize the handles and the tines and everything on it, or the metal parts. Yeah, just that simple. It's really moist down there. The top part is not as moist, but being that we put all this we put these grass clippings in here, it's going to break everything down super fast. Like I said, if you need help with something like this, ask your neighbors if you can get their grass clippings. It's best if you take them and you put them in right away, because they're not going to stink as bad. Like I said, I think that's 2 days old, and it's got, woo! That's the way we do that. And if you're interested on how to do more composting, come to my website, thingsgreen.com, and you could always shoot me an email or read the articles that we have on there. And yeah, composting, it's either you like it or you don't.